This video is brought to you by Hobby Lobby, so let's get right into it. Go to the store, get inspired, because Hobby Lobby has all their fall decor out. And let me tell you, you will find inspiration in every single aisle. You see this cutting board? That was the first one for me. Then I found these napkins and I was like, oh yes. And absolutely the most stunning ribbon and fall picks and the beads. Guys, you always have to get those beads. Get some pumpkins and let's get ready to have a fun time making 4 fun fall craft ideas with Hobby Lobby. All right, so we're going to start off with that cutting board that Hobby Lobby already did most of the work for you. They engraved it. And so one of the thoughts that I had when I picked it up was, why not paint the engraved part? I just thought it was so pretty. And I want to preface this as I'm not a painter, guys. So if I can do this project, you can do this project. It's kind of like that saying, slow and steady wins the race. That's what you have to approach this project with. You just need to be slow and you need to take your time. Now, since the pumpkin was a lot larger than the leaves on here, I went ahead and I used their acrylic paint, but I also have some of their acrylic marker pens that were honestly really good. And I was really impressed with them, and they're only $1.99 a piece. So make sure to go get some of those. Anyways, you're going to just take your time and you're going to paint the pumpkin. I got this a little darker orange color with the acrylic paint, and I just filled in all of the little spots that are obviously the pumpkin, because again, this is engraved and it makes it a lot easier for you. Then you're going to get a green paint, and I thought, oh, I don't know about this, if I can do this with the green and the really thin paintbrush, but guys, I could. And again, slow and steady wins the race. Now we're gonna put about only 1 coat of the green. We might like go back and touch up, but we did do 2 coats on the pumpkin. If you like the 1 coat look, go right ahead and do that. But again, it's just really simple to do. It's kind of like coloring with paint, to be honest. And I just thought this would really make it really pop and be such a really nice decor accent for my fall decor in my kitchen. So I hope you guys like this as well. One of the nice things about this particular project using this paint, it dries really fast. I don't know if it's the wood that's kind of soaking it up, but you just want to take your time and make sure that you don't go over any previous wet paint, because you don't want to get it on your project. But again, all you have to do is get the green paint out, and you could use the marker pens that I'm going to show you here in a moment. It's really up to you. So just get all the colors in place, and then I added a second coat to the pumpkin just because I wanted it to be a little bit more richer of a color. That's all. It's really a preference for you if you want to do this step or not. The stem of our pumpkin, I got out the acrylic markers that you can get for $1.99. They're dual tip, which is what I found super helpful. You had a fine tip and then kind of a round tip, and so it really made it a lot easier. And then I took one of the black paint markers that I found in the same aisle as the acrylic paint, and now I'm going to trace over the lines. Now, this is really kind of up to you if you want to do this step. If you don't, you want to keep more of the brown look of the engraving, go right ahead. But I did this step because I like it to pop a little bit more. But as you can see, it's super easy. And if you see some light wood coming through and it looks a little bit like gold, it's not. It's just the color of the wood. Then I got these beads. Now listen, in the springtime, in the fall time, and in the holidays, there's always strands of beads. And this is the best way to get your beads because honestly, it's super cheap to do this. So I took the same string that the beads came on. I added a little bit of tape on the end so it would make it easier for the beads to go through that string. And then we're just going to tie a knot at the top of our cutting board here. Then I'm just going to add 3 beads. You can do as many or as little as you want. And I'm going to do this on both sides, add a little slip knot, and then we'll go on to the next step. But it's pretty simple. Again, use your creativity with this. There are a lot of different bead options for you, and so you can really have a good time. Now, I wanted to kind of like give this a little bit of a worn look. And so I just took my little buffer sander thing here and I just went over the paint. And I was really careful not to go over the green too much because we didn't want to drag that paint into the orange. The next step, is a bow, of course. Now, this is totally optional. If you don't want to do a bow, that's okay. You're going to make 2 loops, and then you are going to just go ahead and take a little like pipe cleaner or piece of wire. And then I took another piece of the ribbon, went around it, tied a slip knot in the back, and made it 2 sets of tails. All right. Then I'm just going to take some hot glue and we're just going to glue it onto our cutting board. Now, this was super easy and it was so fun to make, and I feel like it would be such a great gift to make as well. So keep that in mind for your holiday gift giving. Now, this is a favorite of mine. I love this acacia wood cutting board, and I got out some Mod Podge, and I thought, what would be better than to kind of make this cutting board pop with a bit of gold? Now, there are different choices at Hobby Lobby. I went with the gold leaf, but there's silver leaf. I believe there's like a kind of a multicolor metal leaf, but I'm a gold girly. And so I'm always going to accent things in gold because that's just what I like. Now, here's the thing. They do sell an adhesive for this, but my particular Hobby Lobby didn't have any in stock, so I used the Mod Podge, the glossy kind. So I did learn in the process of doing this, you really have to time this really good. And so I just took the little pieces of gold leaf and started putting it in the veins of this leaf. But I also found that if I acted a little too slow and the Mod Podge wasn't tacky enough or I didn't add enough, I had to go back in and add a little bit more. Now, if you're noticing here, I did take a wet wipe, again, a great tool to have, and you can kind of like take off some of that excess Mod Podge. Now, if you want, you might want to use the gloves because it can get on your fingers, and I just felt like that was a good thing to do. You're just going to put that gold leaf on top, and then we're going to kind of like sweep it away at the end here. So after you get all of your gold leaf in, you're going to just take one of those wet wipes and you're going to wipe all the excess off. And then to protect all of that gold leaf, we're going to just do another layer of the glossy Mod Podge. So this will help finish your project and keep that gold leaf in place. But I think this turned out beautifully and I can't wait to put this in my kitchen. Or honestly, you could put this in your living room, in an office, anywhere you like to share your fall decor. All right, you're gonna let that dry and then we're gonna start on the next project. This is another cutting board. On the reverse side is that pumpkin engraving. But keep in mind that Hobby Lobby has a lot of cutting boards in their store. So just make sure you go to all the aisles and find what you need for your particular project. On this one, we're going to take some Mod Podge and we're going to put it over top of the whole cutting board. And then we're going to let this dry. Just a really good, nice, even coat is all you need for this. And you're going to be surprised how easy this particular one is. Now, is it my favorite one of all four of these projects? I don't know. The Scarecrow that I'm going to show you here in a moment is pretty good. Now, I got these napkins and I thought this is where I want to start. So I opened up the napkin. As you can see, I'm going to just kind of iron it if we have any little creases, which is totally easily done. Now you can use a regular iron for this. Just make sure it's not too high of a setting. This is a little craft iron that I have on hand. Now we want to kind of, I don't want to cut this because I want this to look like a natural feel. So I'm just taking one of Hobby Lobby's paintbrushes and some water. That's all this is. And then we're going to tear this apart where I added the water. And then that way it just gives it a more natural look when we tear it and a little bit more intentional. Now, this will not cover the whole part of our board. If you get a smaller board, you can cover it all, and that's okay. It's really up to you to use your creativity on this. But I think that people miss out on these napkins. There's a lot of crafters who use decorative napkins like this to make gorgeous crafts. And what we're going to do here is, since we don't have a full pumpkin, I'm going to like tear this to the side and just kind of make it look a little bit more weathered, okay? But after we get that, the next important step is to make sure that we take any of the extra plies on the napkin off. We only want that top layer. You know how you open up a napkin and it has several plies? Well, you want to eliminate the extra plies, like the bottom white ply if that makes sense, on the bottom there. So we're going to just adjust it and put it on our board. Remember, we had already put that Mod Podge on. We're going to use some parchment paper to go over top. Make sure it's nice and straight in the way that you want it. Take your time here because you don't want to do this and then mess it up. Then we're going to activate that Mod Podge with the heat of the iron. Now what this will do is it will make the Mod Podge kind of activate and act as a glue. And you're not going to have to put any Mod Podge over top of this, only if you want to, but this will give a very nice smooth look to our cutting board. And then I opened it up and added just a little bit more with the iron. So you're going to peel that away very gently. And when you do, you have this beautiful decor piece, beautiful napkin accent. I'm just going to take my little sander buffer and we're going to go off the sides and get any extra tissue paper that might have been hanging off because we don't need it. And then I have been seeing this little bow back in the wood section at Hobby Lobby for probably the last 6 months. And I've had these on hand and I'm like, what am I going to use this for? This was the project. So what I did was I painted it a brown color. Now, you can paint it any color, but what you need to keep in mind is if it's a light color and you put a napkin over top of it, it's going to make that napkin seem a little bit more translucent. So that's what we're trying to do, is just make sure that the napkin that we use for this one, which is that plaid napkin that I showed you in the beginning of the video, really, that is our focal point. So we're going to add some more Mod Podge. I think almost everything, not the first project, had Mod Podge. So keep in mind, Mod Podge is a necessity for these crafts. Then we're just going to cut a piece of that plaid napkin. I'm loving the plaid, by the way. And then we're going to take off the extra ply here. And then we're going to do the exact same method that we did to the board. I'm going to place it over top here, make sure it's nice and straight. Add my parchment paper, and then we're going to literally iron on the napkin. Now, remember, you have to make sure that that Mod Podge is dry. The paint is dry. So paint first, Mod Podge second. After everything has dried, then you can put your napkin down, all right? And then I went from a double layer of parchment paper to a single layer, and then we're going to take away all of the excess napkin here. Since this particular project has some curves in it, I'm going to use my water method again. If you wanted to, you could use some fine scissors and just cut away the excess napkin, because what we're going to do is get that sander out and buff off the extra napkin away from the actual little wooden bow. Now, this wooden bow is adorable. And actually, looking at this backside of it, you could have just done this on the backside too. But I feel like this is such a cute little product that they have at Hobby Lobby. Make sure you go pick some up. You'll have a use for it, I promise. I just am in love with it. All right, so here's a little trick. Okay, you're gonna want that little sander buffer pad, right? Or block. But I also use an emery board simply because it's a little bit easier to get in all the little crevices. Now, I got one of these little stamp pads from the scrapbook section, and I love these little brushes. Again, make sure you check every aisle at Hobby Lobby. There are little gems everywhere. And what we did is we are just going to go around our bow with that stamp pad and just kind of add a little bit of aging to it. And it kind of covers, if I had gotten a little bit too much of the tissue off, I just really love it. It's just a great little product to have on hand to age any product that you're using with wood or paper or whatnot. So once you get that done, I'm going to glue this onto the board, and I was really careful. Make sure that you only put glue where you need it because you don't want a bunch of glue hanging off, all right? And another thing that I could have done, but I didn't, is you could have taken that little stamp pad and gone over the pumpkin napkin as well. I had some of these buttons that I got from the fabric fabric section in Hobby Lobby, and I just felt like that was the perfect touch to go into the middle of our little bow. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like this is such a cute craft. I love the bow. I love how it turned out, and I think it would be such a great little gift. Now, here's our last project. Now, this one is super simple. Hobby Lobby has these little charcuterie boards, and this would be a great Friendsgiving gift, or maybe you could put it at everybody's table at Thanksgiving for them to take home as a little, going away present from your event. But I think this is super cute. We took a popsicle stick and we took one of the charcuterie mini boards and we painted it the same brown color. Okay, keep in mind, we're going to do the same thing that we just did on the other project. We're going to add a little bit of Mod Podge over top of the paint, and you can see that my paint is not like, it looks like it could have used another coat, and that's okay. All right, I cut another piece of my plaid napkin because I'm obsessed, of course, and we're just going to glue it on with our little iron method and Mod Podge. Okay, then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take off that extra napkin. I used a scissor this time and was able to use my emery pad and my sanding block to get the excess off, just like we did before. Again, this is very similar. Again, Mod Podge is very important for this video. Then we sanded it all off, and as you can see, I did paint the side of this little board here just to kind of make sure that everything was cohesive. Then I just carefully took the extra off because I don't want to sand the wood there, and I just was really, really, careful with that part. Then we're going to do the same thing to that popsicle stick. And I don't know about you, but if you have a lot of popsicle sticks, your kids are going to want to play with them. My son is like so into crafting, and he uses all my popsicle sticks that I get from Hobby Lobby. It's really cute. So we're going to get that one all sanded, and we're going to add it to our little board. Now, as you can probably tell, we're making a little scarecrow, as you saw at the beginning of this video, and this turned out so cute. Again, guys, I am not an artist. I don't paint. I don't do the hand lettering, but you can do it with the products that Hobby Lobby makes available to you. Now, this is a Posca pen, and you can get them on their website. And again, another acrylic pen that I used at the beginning of the video, we just made a little triangle, and I just was very careful. Now, when I did the mouth on this, did I do a great job? No, but you know what? It turned out super cute. I hurried a little bit too much in there, and that's okay. I went back over the white little eyes to kind of give it a little bit of a touch with extra black there, and did it on both sides. Now, do what you want. If you want to use little buttons, use little buttons. Be creative in this process because Hobby Lobby's got you covered. All right. Now, every single product that I use is going to be down in the description box. So what I want you to do, go to the description box, find the supplies, or go to your local Hobby Lobby and get them and make these. Now, I want to know which project was your favorite and which one you're going to go to Hobby Lobby, get the supplies, and get started on because you have enough time, because Thanksgiving is just around the corner, but we have enough time to get these made and give them away or use them for fall decor. I'm just going to take a little bit of this raffia. We're going to get a little piece of Chanel stem, and we're going to wrap it together, and we're just going to add a little bit more. Now, you could make this a girl scarecrow and add some raffia on the sides of the brim of the hat if you wanted, but we're going to put this in the middle here, and we're just going to glue it down, make sure it's nice and flat there, and you're just going to kind of fan out your raffia. Add a little bit of glue and put it on the brim of your hat. Pretty simple, but we're not going to stop there. We have to add just another little touch. And again, if you haven't been back to the scrapbooking section, I feel like I live in the scrapbooking section right now at Hobby Lobby because they have so many great finds. But we're going to take these little sunflower stickers, take the sticker backing off, and then I'm just going to put it in the middle of that raffia. So I hope you love this particular video that we did. Make sure to let me know which particular project is your favorite. Leave me a pumpkin emoji down in the comments and check out the description box for all these amazing products. But listen, thank you again, Hobby Lobby, for sponsoring another video here on Julie's Wreath Boutique. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye-bye.